want to do that anymore. But you don't know how to stop yet. You're still stuck in that cycle. All right, that rut. You're breaking habits that you want to break. You're learning to make mistakes, and it's okay. All right, this is when we really start to move out of needing to be perfect. Okay. That was not where I meant to go. Okay, you know that you are the solution. You're not just noticing it, but you really know it at this point. And you're starting to be consciously use gratitude. And that's what we need to be doing every single day. When we use gratitude, don't we feel better? Right? When we do it every day, you just feel like you're in flow, right? Like, as soon as I remember, like, oh, thank you, God, I'm so grateful that things are flowing, and I'm so grateful everybody in my life's healthy, and all of a sudden I feel better. I'm like, yeah, I remembered. It feels good. Okay? So we want to consciously use it. And you are starting to use and learn about the tools that will help you succeed. That's why we're here, right? Because we want to start, if we're already using tools, we want to add. If we don't have many, then we want to get a lot, okay? And by the way, any of these things that you go to, we're all going to teach you a lot of the same things. What's different is just our styles. And it's an opportunity to hear it in a different way, and hopefully it sinks in, right? Because somebody might tell you the same thing 10 times. You guys have that happen? But then the right person says it just the right way, and you're like, oh, yes, I get it. Emil's done that to me several times, and I've had Kathy do that to me as well, a number of people in this room. Like, oh, it's a big aha moment, even though your mom told you, your dad told you, all your friends told you, but that person just said it right. All right, so hopefully I'm going to get a chance to do that today. But I also want you to know that if you have something to say or ask a question, I am more of a free flow therapist, coach. So feel free, make some comments. Okay, Lifeaholic is when you're addicted to life and you really are addicted to being in the moment. How many want to do that? I know I did, right? It's much more fun. You feel connected and grateful all the time. Have we not had days like that? Or at least hours? Yeah. Okay. You use routine and habits and addictions to your benefit. Isn't that what we want to do, right? Because who wants to think about brushing their teeth every morning when we get up, or every night, right? Or in the middle of the day, whenever you do it. You don't want to think about it all the time, but you want to be consciously using those habits, okay? If your life becomes unconscious, then you get addicted to routines. Okay, I'm going to give you another example of that. There's a really good book called On the Sweet Spot, and it's obviously about golf, for those that, maybe not obviously, but it is about golf. And he talks a lot about how golfers have that pre-prep right before they hit the ball, right? They got the whole thing. Like, they might even have the steps they do before they go to the ball. 1, 2, 3, set, practice swing, and they hit. It's the same routine, the good golfers, every time. But when they get unconscious about it, too unconscious, it screws them up. Now, you want it to be normal and natural and all that, but you don't want to be so unconscious that you stop thinking about it entirely. That's when the bad habits slip in. Okay? So we want to be we don't want to overdo it. We don't want to think about everything. But you want to make sure you stay aware. Okay? That's what being in that space, being a lifeaholic is. We are aware of where we're at. We don't notice every habit that we do, but we stay aware of what we're doing. Right? Like when you're driving, hopefully when you're in this space, you're limiting how much time you spend on the phone. Because when you are on the phone, and I'm a culprit of this, when you're on the phone, we're not fully conscious of driving, are we? No. And that means we're not actually fully in the moment, because what we're supposed to be doing in that moment is what? Driving, right? And I'm not judging, because I'm saying, listen, I do this too. But it's just something to think about. If you really want to experience driving, we can't be on the phone, we can't be talking to other people, we can't be thinking about our list that we need to go to the grocery store and pick up when we're done, okay? We have to be fully driving. And believe it or not, when you do that, it actually makes it a little bit more enjoyable. How many of you get bored with driving? Right. Well, not everybody, but there's a few of us. If you want to actually enjoy it, experience it for a minute. You'll enjoy it more. Now, turn off everything and just drive for a minute. All right. So you use your routines. You make mistakes all the time because it's a natural part of your process. All right. When I was in therapy school, I had a fabulous teacher, and he said, "Listen, most of you are afraid to make mistakes, right?" He said, "I want you to know right now that you need to be making more mistakes than the average person. So I suggest that you put in your mind right now that you're going to make 6 to 7 mistakes a day." I was like, holy moly. So do you think he really meant make 6 to 7 mistakes a day? Anyway,
Yeah.
he did. You think he did? That's a meal for you. All right. What he was saying to us, and it took me a minute to get it, was take risks. Take risks with your clients. Take risks with your friends. Step out. That's what they do. They step out of what they might normally do, their normal box, and go ahead and just see what happens. Maybe it will work, but maybe it will. All right. You approach fear actively and you move through it. How many have tried turning away from fear? Did it work? No. Right? In fact, it sticks right here. Right? It runs with us. Okay. It's not a fun place to be. So they face it head on and they move through it, which is the fastest way to get through fear. You're flexible. All right? And you allow life to flow. All right. Take risks emotionally with work and family. And by the way, they're great listeners. What do we forget to do a lot of times? Oh, man. It's so easy to forget, isn't it? You're waiting for them to finish so you can say what you have in your head, right? And it turns out that you just missed everything they said because you were waiting for your turn instead of listening. So a great listener actually makes people feel good, right? And you still will have something to say. I promise. So if you find that you've been trading stories, try to stop yourself, really listen to what they say, and then see what comes out just naturally. All right? Just give it a try. It's fun. You never know what will come out of your mouth then because it's not prep. It could be inspiring to you. All right? All right, so those are the stages, guys. Now we're going to move on to why you're really here, right? How many of you guys want to learn some skills today?
Sure.
A couple? Yeah? Good. All right. I'm just flying. How many like the pace, though? Anybody? You like the pace? Good. Okay. Well, then we're going to stick on it. Okay. All right. So we're going to move to the power of 5. The power of the mind. And yes, I consciously called it the power of the mind. Instead of, the power of mind control. I even screwed up my own thing, right? The power of mind control. Any guess why I thought that I like that instead of just saying the power of the mind?
You have the power to control it.
You have the power to control it, exactly. How many of you know that your mind is yours? I'm so glad you all raised your hands, I got to tell you. I'd be worried. I actually know some good therapists if you think somebody else controls it. Okay? Okay. All right. The power of perception. Okay. That's the next one. The power of flexibility and flow. All right. Everybody's hoping I get to that, right? This one's important. The power of communication and the power of spirit. Okay. I actually got asked on Saturday by somebody, and they said, well, why is the power of spirit at the bottom? Anybody have a good guess?
The highest.
Exactly. It's the highest. Why? But I have it at the bottom. Why do I have it at the bottom? Because it's the foundation. Okay? So I thought a lot about this. I slapped it together. No, I'm kidding. I really thought about it. Our spirit, our connection to the world, our connection to the people around us is our foundation. If we don't have those things, are any of the other skills going to work? They won't stick around. Okay? It doesn't mean you can't do them. They just won't stick around. If you want more long-term, we have to have that base. And I'm not saying go to church. This is not a judgment call. This is just about having whatever your connection is, have that connection and make it be a priority so you can learn these skills and keep them in your life. Whatever it may be, prayer, meditation, what your deal is, yoga.